Hello, friends. So, for all those that have been following my journey so far, you are already familiar with the fact that I started a big number of micro businesses so far, ranging from e commerce to different types of agencies such as web design and AI implementation, to software as a service and a lot of other things. Now, they have in common to be online businesses, but never have I managed to scale one to a significant level. Just web design brought me in a little bit of money, but the business model that I was growing wasn't really that scalable, so I've quit on that. But that's the only online money I've ever been able to generate. Now, with that said, these business ventures never went anywhere. And just a couple of days ago, I sat down and actually thought about what is going on. I already did this before, and the conclusion I came to was simply that I'm lacking discipline, I'm lacking some characteristics that actually make a business successful. But apart from looking at myself and how I am confronting the difficult situations that occur once someone is trying to launch and scale a business, I looked at the technical part. Where does it blow up every time? And I noticed that all of my previous businesses always blew up at the same phase, which wasn't the initial one. It wasn't the creative phase. It wasn't figuring out the product or the service to offer. I always failed in the second phase. I always failed once it was actually time to get clients. All businesses get to a point when it's time to do marketing, sales, and distribution. But it's just something that with my online businesses, I've never been able to be good at. So this is something that I really took to heart. Now let me also give you a quick update on how I am doing with the current business that I was growing just until a couple of days ago, which was called Just Good Leads. It was a software as a service. I'm already saying was and not is because, yes, ladies and gentlemen, this one has been left behind as well. I've got to this phase that I just described to you previously, in which I had to figure out marketing and distribution. I also started to post a little bit on social media, and I ran into multiple problems with the platforms themselves. So Meta gave me a couple of issues, so did the TikTok, and I just said to myself, this is not it. This is not it. And then I sat down, looked on also all the previous times I failed with one of the businesses I was trying to launch. And again, marketing, sales, and distribution is what kills me every damn time. So I came to this realization, and I'm soon going to tell you how I'm going to confront it, which is also the topic of this video. Because I'm going to confront this with launching a new business that I don't want to describe as the one that is actually going to make me become successful, because it's something that I've said essentially every time I tried to launch one of the previous ones, because without the confidence of one of my previous businesses to have the ability to become the big one, I wouldn't even have launched it in the first place. So I'm not going to describe it in any of these ways. So today with you, I'm going to launch a completely new one, and we're going to do this in a very specific way by applying the concept of speed, because I've really found it to be one of the most effective ones when it comes down to actually generating money. I had the opportunity to prove this to myself multiple times with my previous attempts, also those that made me actually some money. Therefore, let's get started. Now, the particularity of the business that we're going to launch today is that it's going to attack exactly my weakness. It's going to attack the phase that killed all my previous business ventures, which is the one of marketing, distribution, and sales. Now, this business is going to be called EOOS, which stands for Email Outreach Operative System. And at the core, essentially, what I'm going to do is manage email outreach campaigns for clients. Now, I said that this business specifically attacks the phase that killed all of my previous ones, which is marketing and sales. And this is exactly why. Because if we sell this product, we essentially use itself to sell itself. I'm going, for example, to be contacting with my system other agencies, B2B agencies that sell to other businesses, and at the core, we are contacting them with the same system that is going to contact other business owners for them. It may sound a little bit complicated, but it's really simple, and we're going to dive deeper into it later. Now, about EOOS, what it does apart from writing and managing the email campaigns is targeted scraping. So we're going to specifically scrape decision makers' emails, and then we are going with AI. We're going to write personalized message. So with an AI agent, we're going to scrape information about a specific decision maker that we're going to contact. And this is going to give us the opportunity to generate, for example, a personalized icebreaker and a tailored message for the actual reader, which is incredibly more effective, obviously, than using templates when it comes down to doing cold outreach via email. So the calls that we're going to be able to book with this system and the amount of calls that our clients are going to be able to book with this system are going to be very high compared to the standard operating procedure when it comes down to cold email outreach, which is a template that only has the personalized name at the beginning. So they change Hi John with Hi Michael, and the rest is exactly the same. But that's not what we're going to do, because in our email, we know where that decision maker has studied. We know what their interests are. And we're able to do this because via AI agents, we scrape on the internet all of this stuff. And now let's get into the practical stuff, because you've got an understanding now of what the business is going to be about. And the next phase is the easy one. It's the creative one. It's branding, so logo and website. This is the easiest phase of them all because no one fails in it. The hard part is the next one. It's the part that always stopped my previous attempts of making money online, which is sales and marketing. But this time we are equipped on another level. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's get started with the logo. Now we're going to use Canva to come up with it, and I already have a design in mind. I want it to be EOOS with a blue tonality. I'm not quite sure about which one I'm going to go with because I still have to look at them. And once they are effectively on the screen, I will be able to tell which branding is the one that I would like to bring forward. But the logo is going to be text based, so we're not going to have an icon. It's just purely going to be four letters, EOOS, and the characters consequently have to be bold because given that we're not going to use any other elements, it really has to stand out. Now I will take a couple attempts at building a few logos, and then I will pick the one I like the most and develop it further. So EOOS. color. Let's start with this cobalt blue. But I can already tell it doesn't really trigger something in me. Let's go with sapphire. This one looks a little bit too violet. Deep blue. Okay, now my dog sitting business already has a similar color as logo, and I would like to have something a little bit different, but it's not bad, so we'll keep it there and simultaneously look for something else. Gonna go here to have more options. I think this is it. Now let's look for a better character. Horizon is a very famous one, but it really takes up a lot of space horizontally. So let's look for something else. Spartan is too common and hasn't much to do with the company. Okay, so these are some of the designs that I've come up with. The first one is very clean and professional, nothing special about it, just raw professionalism. Then we start to get a little bit more fancy here with this design, more abstract and creative. Same goes for my third attempt at creating a logo for EOOS. And number four is a mix between the first one, which is much more professional, and these other two more creative ones. Now, we have to pick one, and I'm not quite sure in which direction to go. But given the business model, given the brand that I am envisioning, I would actually avoid for this time going with this very creative stuff and go on something clean, professional, and direct, because we're not selling a fancy product. We have a very raw service that is driven by efficiency and efficiency alone. There's nothing beautiful or cute about it. Therefore, I'm actually going to exclude number two and number three, which leaves us with these two. Now, hear me out. Looking at them one under the other, I would actually go with the one on top. It's pure raw text. There is nothing special about it. But again, keeping in mind what we're actually going to offer to our clients, it doesn't make any sense to go with the one below that just expresses something a little bit more funnier compared to the one above. There is literally nothing funny or entertaining about EOOS as a company. It's highly efficient, yet there's nothing exciting about it, apart the big benefits that it will bring to our clients. It will bring money in, but very silently, right? It's nothing that closes a deal. It's nothing that clients of our clients are going to be directly facing. We just have to go raw. I just have to pick logo number one for this time. The most basic text you can imagine. Here it is. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's actually move on without wasting any time to the website. So to build the website, we're going to start with lovable.dev. Now, for those that are not familiar with it, this is a vibe coding platform. So I just tell it what I need as a website, and it's going to generate it for me. Then what I'm going to do is export that website and put it into Visual Studio Code, which is another program, and I will work on it then with Claude Code inside of Visual Studio Code. If you don't know what I'm talking about here because it's a little bit technical, don't worry, just enjoy the rest of the video. But if you are a little bit technical, I want to briefly touch on the vibe coding tool that we're going to use itself, because I really have to express appreciation for lovable.dev, given that I've tried out a lot of other platforms that are supposed to do the same job, like bolt.new, vidzero, how's the other one called? Dazzle.dev, Replit, you name it. I've tried them all, and lovable.dev is the best one when it comes to design and also functionality. But right now we're just worried about how our landing page is going to look. So let's also focus. So let's just focus on this aspect. Now, to come up with the prompt that I will use to generate the website, I'm using Claude that already wrote one for me, because I've discussed the project that I was developing with that chat you've just seen on Claude Code, and then just asked Claude to give me a prompt to generate a website for it that already has the best offers in it, so we don't have to work later on the copy, which is something that we will do, but just as fine-tuning, and we're not going to be starting from scratch. So I paste it in here, and then I'm going to give a couple of design directions, because the prompt I've pasted on top is just technical to make Lovable understand what EWOS actually does. So I'm going to ask it, build a landing page for this company. I'd like the hero section to have the image attached here as background. The rest of the design and layout is up to you. Just make sure the website doesn't scream vibe coded, and try to make it a words list worthy. If you don't know what the awards list is, it's essentially a collection of the best websites that have been developed. So we're just pumping Lovable up a bit, but it's actually to make sure it differentiates a little bit from the design perspective, how our website is going to look compared to all the other ones, because when AI does something, it tends to follow always the same patterns, and this prompt should set us up in a way that, as I said, is going to make our landing page differ from all the others that Lovable develops. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I've used this prompt multiple times already, and usually it does a good job. But we can always fine-tune the website later with Claude Code, as I said, so let's not worry too much about it. Let's just get the initial layout. Now I'm going to attach the image that I want as hero section background, which is this one. And once it's ready, I'm going to get back to you. Okay, so Lovable just got done with the generation of the first version of the website, so let's take a look. Now, I really love the concept of having this image as background, which when it comes down to a software is interesting because it reminds of the cloud, which is where the software lives. So I think I've done a very good job at envisioning it. Now, I do not have invented this style. I have seen it a couple of times online already on other websites, but it's really nice. So I'm going to go with it. Now, in terms of the layout, though, there is certainly a lot of work to do because white on white here is really not that good. But again, look at the animation of the clouds in the background that Lovable has done. Very interesting. And it makes our landing page feel more alive. So I like that. But again, here, white text on white clouds, it does need a little bit of work. Same goes for the button here and another one here that we can almost not even see. I like this here. And then we have the other sections, which honestly are a little bit boring. Okay. Yes. So, pretty boring website after the hero section. It started off well here, but then the rest is just text essentially with a layout that tries to be different but is not. Here we have the frequently asked questions, which are also not bad from the design perspective. But apart from the FAQ and hero section, the rest is pretty boring. So I will have to work on it. Now, to don't make this video too boring, just like this website is, I will work on it off camera and I'll get back to you once I have something that is actually appealing for our brand and that is worthy to be launched on the internet. So let me get to work and I'll catch you in a couple of minutes. Okay, so this is the point that I have reached, and I'm really happy with how the hero section is looking right now. Then I've also added a couple of other elements like this terminal that I will perfect from the design perspective and some other stuff that we will dive deeper into tomorrow because now it's already 1 a.m. So I'm going to take a shower and go to bed because tomorrow is going to be another day full of work and I have to be ready. So, with that said, let's pause here. And for you, I'll be back in a second. But for me, it's going to be in 7 hours. Good night. Good morning, friends. So I've worked a little bit more on the website, and I really think we're moving in the right direction because, especially, the details are very appealing. Now, if you watch carefully, the background also has an animation in which the clouds appear to be moving, which makes it feel more alive, and it's something that I really like. Then we have these two buttons that I changed the animation for once the cursor goes over them, but I'm still not that satisfied with it, and I'm going to work on it a little bit more. But then we have this terminal now that I changed into a infinite pattern because it used to write these 7 lines, and when it was done it would start from the beginning, but I hated the white space that it created in the terminal card. Therefore I decided to go with this pattern that really makes it better. Then we have this section here called the sequence section, and we have these cards running away from the cursor, and a bunch of other stuff that I changed, as this card here that simulates the conversation that our AI agent is having with a client. Now, something that I still have to work on is certainly this part here with the dashboard that I don't like much, and the ending. That said, I also want to change the characters that we're using for the titles, because I like this style for the hero section, but later I want to go with something a little bit more modern. And I also changed the header, which I forgot to tell you about. As you can see, it has a beautiful animation now, and that's another element that I am really happy with. Now I will go to the gym. It's time to work out, and I'll continue once I'm back. I think that in a couple more hours, I'm actually going to be done with this build, and then we can actually proceed to launch it on the internet. Okay, so I got back from the gym and worked a couple more hours on the landing page, and I believe I'm at a very good point. I'm happy with the result. There is still some little fine-tuning that needs to be done, and I have to work on the back end, because right now the module that I will show you in just a second doesn't work. I'm not going to receive it via email if I use it right now, but this is something that I will do tomorrow because it's almost 2 a.m. That said, let me show you what I was able to achieve. So now these buttons have this very interesting animation. It's minimal, it's a small change compared to how it was before, but it makes me feel much better about it. It's just nicer, it's more professional. Then we have our terminal, which is not something new. Here we have our classic cards with the animation that runs away from the cursor, followed by this section, which is completely new, and I just added it at the end because I felt like some visitors would like more details about what EOS is all about, and this section solves that problem. So it just dives deeper into the technicality and who it is for and why it's a great solution. I added the possibility to read more and read less because it's a lot of text, and without making the visitor expand it, it would really hurt the eye of a viewer. Therefore, this is, I believe, the best way to handle it. Then we have this icon here that has this animation always combined with the cursor. We have then the one system, two sides section, which explains how there's an operator side and a client side when it comes down to EOS. Then there is this section, and I made the right part of it look better. Then I also worked on the dashboard, as I told you I was going to do, and now it's also animated. As you can see, every couple of seconds it updates with some simulated updates. Obviously, it's nothing real, but it makes the website again feel more alive and entertaining. And then we just close it off with the final call to action that I also find very interesting. It's not the same image as the hero section, it's a bit different, as you can see. And I guess I can go to sleep now, and tomorrow we will wire up everything else, buy the domain, and go online. I hoped that I would have been able to do it today, but it's 2 a.m. and the alarm rings in 6 hours. So let's not risk to have a bad day tomorrow, lacking focus, because it's not something that needs to be done today. So good night, and again, it's going to be a couple of seconds for you, but a couple of hours for me. Okay, so the work continues. Right now we have Claude Code completing some tasks. The main thing that I am working on right now is the mobile version, because the landing page is essentially done from the design and layout perspective, but we still need to optimize for mobile, even though I'm not predicting a lot of visitors from the mobile version. But you know, when you get one, you want it to be a good looking page. That said, let me show you at what point I am with the landing page itself. So I've changed the title. Now it says cold email that flies itself all the way to the meeting, which I find to be a little bit more attractive. Then we scroll down to the terminal. And in this section, I don't know if you can see it from the camera. Yes, you can. There is now this line connecting all the cards, which gives it more of a timeline feel that I think was missing before. And that's about it. There's nothing new. No, well, there actually is. I don't remember if I showed you yesterday at night the book a demo option here, because now we have this process that visitors can go through in which they book a call with us. So, well, it's a little bit inconvenient right now because I'm holding the camera with one hand and doing the rest with the other, but I'll show you another time. It's just 3 steps. First, they give the personal information, then what they want to achieve with the email campaigns, and they just pick a time and a date after that. Then I also worked on the legal pages, so privacy and terms and conditions, which we don't really have to get into much. Okay, so now the website is officially completed and it's time to purchase our domain, which I have chosen to be ewoos.cloud. There were a couple of options. .com was obviously taken, but I had to choose between ewoos.dev.tech or .email and then obviously .cloud, and I decided to go with this one because it also matches the brand very well. Then I also add to the cart the Microsoft 365 Email Essentials subscription for 12 months to have a professional work email, which is going to be info@ewoos.cloud. Friends, we are finally online. eWOS has officially launched, and we have done so within the 48-hour mark. Just in 20 minutes we're going to reach the 2 days of operations. Now let me show you real quick. eWOS.cloud, available for anyone that wants to check it out. I think it's a banger. I really like it. And with this being said, we are going to end here the first episode of the eWOS launch, and next we're going to have to build the actual product because we haven't done anything on that side yet, but the branding is finally in place and anyone who wants to reach out can do so. Anyone can already book a call, but once they do so and I explain them what the service is all about, I don't have anything to work with because the actual engine, the core of eWOS, still needs to be built, which is a much longer phase compared to the one we just went through in this video about branding, because it becomes much more technical. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's to come on this channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.